What up, everybody? How we all doing today? Saturday, December 12th, 2020, near the end of the year. The craziness that has been going on in the world. I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is healthy and keeping their social distancing in this crazy world that we are living today. So we're here to talk about Transformers. Once again, a YouTube live stream weekend review. Wish it would be the end of the year sometimes, I wonder. But yeah, how we all doing? It's been good. Well, I found a lot of cool stuff. I want to talk about that today. A lot of the cool stuff. But let's talk about what's been happening recently. After we finished our live stream last week, we were dropped into this. Looks like we got some Earthrise trailer in our hands here. And yeah, I have to say I'm a little excited. I know that I ragged on the Siege series after watching it. I wasn't feeling it that much, but Earthrise, at least it looks like there's something there that could be exciting, something new to be brought to the table. What's up, Aaron? Aaron Archer in the house. And I mean, it's interesting. I think it's because there's the possibility of something that's actually a unique kind of story, even though it's kind of been done before with the UK comics back in the day with Marvel. But it's still something that could be interesting to see play out in animation for the first time, where Siege kind of treaded a lot of the same things we already have seen before. Oh, an Allspark cube being shot into a space bridge, and Optimus and Megatron origin stories. So that kind of stuff we've already seen multiple times, even as recently as Cyberverse, the new series. But this one will be interesting to see. And we have Nemesis Prime, Unicron, the Quintessons, the Mercenaries kind of really getting their thing. So I'm really curious how they're going to do this. Not to mention, if this truly is only 6 episodes, how they're going to fit that all into 6 episodes, even if they're 21 minutes. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But I'm hyped. It looks really good. It looks really, really, really good. That's all I got to really say. I mean, let's just hope it is good. That's all I'm really hoping for. I just want it to just be, decent voice acting and a story that isn't played out and kind of boring. The last one, I gave it like a solid 7 out of 10. It wasn't anything that really reinvented the wheel with Transformers, but it wasn't anything that was really exciting. And maybe it was just more of an older fan who's kind of seen it all and experienced it all, and so it wasn't really anything new for me. But I'm pretty sure there's fans that did enjoy it. There was people that were never Transformer fans that watched it because it was a trending thing on Netflix and possibly got them into Transformers, or at least kind of engaging with the brand in some shape or form. So let's hope it does the same. Let's hope it comes out. Let's hope it gets a lot of views. It starts trending and gives more confidence. Let's hope there's a lot more characters and designs that we haven't seen from the 2 trailers and the teaser image that we saw. I know that Scorponok is going to be in it at some point just from the Netflix teaser image on their website. So we shall see. We shall see what happens exactly with that. But again, I'm excited. Next up, also kind of Kingdom related, was an odd price point figure that was shown to us. And it was that of Buzzworthy Bumblebee. And I didn't know how to because just the packaging alone, I have so many questions, because it's the robot mode packaging there with Spike is that that I guess we could call it the Earthrise Volkswagen Beetle kind of packaging design and everything. The background is clearly just the background used from Kingdom with the Ark and the volcano in the background. So Spike being there, it's like, ooh, what is he doing there? Is he from the future too or something? And then you have the robot head in the corner of the packaging. That's the evergreen Bumblebee art, which is even more kind of confusing. So there's a lot of weird stuff just going on with the packaging. And considering that it's potentially a core class figure, and it's like, okay, maybe they didn't want to have to pay the Volkswagen license this time around, so they didn't go with the Volkswagen. They went with like a not, hatchback kind of car. But the design that they went with was, and that's all the way here on, I have to get used to which way everything is pointing. But over here, that's Bumper, the elusive 1985 pack-in kind of rare mini-bot figure, or Bumble Jumper, as some people called him back in the day in the fandom. That's his alt mode. That's the Protege, I think it's the 538, the Familia, as it's called in Japan. And when you compare the two side by side, it has the same headlights, the same, hood dip, the same grille, same bumper, even the way that, the way the Autobot logo is placed right on the roof, although that's not really something too unique to mini bots. But still, like, it's funny that they even went with that. So I don't know. I do not know, but it's very interesting that they decided to release it this way. I think that part of it is because they just didn't have a slot in the core class to fit in a Bumblebee, but they really wanted a Bumblebee figure out there. So the way that I see it, it's like, okay, all right. It might be something that we're probably going to see like a whole like peg of them, and they're probably like, all alone 8 per case, because when this dropped, I think it was In Demand Toys dropped the news originally. When this dropped, this news, nothing else was accompanied with it. There was no back of the packaging cross-sell kind of thing, like, oh, there's also these other figures. So it's a very bizarre one. It's a very, very, very bizarre release. Again, I'm intrigued by the alt mode, but the robot mode really does nothing for me. The Spike figure is probably the big selling point for a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. There's supposedly a release date of February of next year. We'll see what happens, but considering it has that, Kingdom packaging, it's no surprise that that would be the case. Let's talk about some Cyberverse figures that leaked just last week that we talked about just quickly. And we talked about this last week, how there's going to be a Starscream, there's going to be a Soundwave, and there's going to be a Prowl, the deluxe price point. And we didn't really have much of that until just recently. We got some, I guess they were like Walmart made a mistake, and they put the Cyberverse Deluxe Prowl listing up, and they put these Starscream Deluxe photos with it. And it was a bunch of photos, the back of the packaging too, and everything. And I don't know. I said it in my news review of this, the segment, and I'm not feeling it too much. Maybe again, it's a figure that I think I just have to have in hand, and not to mention it doesn't have the Build-A-Figure gimmick, so I'm not as inclined to pick it up also if I don't like it. Let's put it this way, like when we're talking the Cyberverse line, there's 80 to 90% of the figures that I'll probably never pick up ever unless I get them for like 50 cents or $1. Most of them are gimmick laden. They're not something that speaks to what me as a collector, what I need. Obviously, I understand where it belongs in the hierarchy of things, but even like, the 5 to 9-year-old kid, a lot of those gimmick ones, kids want to play with what the adults are playing with. Transformers kind of got away with being deluxes like they were for years. And now it's like we've reached a point where now a 5 to 9-year-old kid who normally would have been the target demo needs to have an extremely gimmick-laden toy. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand where they're going with that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. When I'm going to probably pick this up when it's on sale, which is something I'm going to get into afterwards. But I don't know. I can't see myself for $29.99 buying this at full price. Still kind of looks like Gradius. Still kind of looks like the Vic Viper in a lot of ways, just different versions of the Vic Viper. But it's just, the blue on the sides. And even though like if If you look, the control art doesn't have the blue, and the arms are weird too. It's a lot of weird things going on with this figure that I really need to have in person to make a better judgment on it. I really do. There's just too much going on that that I need to have in person to kind of understand. Let's get into a topic that's some of people's bane, depending on where you're coming from, and let's talk about Funko Pop. So yesterday, Funko announced that they were going to have their Funko Friday drop, and they had the Nemesis Prime here, which was their Funko store exclusive, sold out instantly because Funko collectors are crazy, at $15.99 MSRP. And then the Target exclusive Target exclusive Starscream also came out, hit the floor. Starscream of Target hit the floors. That was the street date, and also was selling out like crazy. And I posted here on the side, was having a resale literally the exact same day of a almost 400% markup, if not more. I'm seeing even higher ones, and I haven't posted them yet. And also, this one is supposed to come out next Friday, which is a special Bumblebee, which I'll get into in a moment. But it actually broke street dates, and a lot of these two were actually found on the shelves together. This one also is hitting sometimes $30 to $40 in the secondary market. Funko collectors are crazy. I'm going to say this, guys, don't pay that. Don't pay that for any of these. These things are going to be plentiful later. Funko collectors are just, circling the money around the drain amongst each other. It's someone who's buying it for $8.99, selling it for $30. That person who's buying it for $30 thinks they could sell it for $50, and it just is, it's nuts. So don't fall for the Funko meme, so to speak, and just wait if you are interested in these. And if you're not interested in these, then you're probably way better off than anyone else. But yeah, the Bumblebee specifically, what's intriguing about that, and I'm glad that Aaron's here even, is they based the Bumblebee's design not off of his Generation 1 version, but off of his old Classics design. They took the Classics design, if you look at the way the feet are, the lining, the little backpack, jet, ski kind of thing, they based it off of that, which is really fascinating. What I even find more fascinating is none of the news outlets online, TFW 2005 and all the others, no one has picked up on this yet. And so either way, so this is a thing. It's also going to be available. Officially, it's supposed to be available the Friday coming up. That's going to be the street date for it. So Funko Friday, Classics 2006 Bumblebee is going to be made into a Funko Pop with his little, goatee, the way it was done there too. So, yeah, that's a thing. And if you're interested in picking it up, again, don't pay scalper prices. Wait it out. Wait it out. Speaking of Starscream and Bumblebee making a debut, we got Transformers R.E.D. robot enhanced designs that were shown from Hasbro's Instagram. These are pretty interesting. I'm still not completely sold on the line because it's not really in a price point that intrigues me. If I'm gonna pay, this is Canadian price, so I'm gonna pay $29.99 because that's what it is, Canadian more or less. I'm gonna put that towards a deluxe. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put that towards a Voyager. I'm gonna put that towards something else. I have so many Bumblebee figures of the Generation 1 Ike, let alone Masterpiece or otherwise. Do I need something like this? Is this something for me? And I've said this before in previous segments. This is something I feel that's aimed more at a casual kind of Transformer fan. A fan that doesn't have a Masterpiece Bumblebee, probably doesn't have maybe the original Bumblebee, maybe doesn't even have an Earthrise or something like that either. Maybe just wants to have a G1 Bumblebee facsimile for their desk at work or something. And trust me, when these were being designed, they probably didn't even think about the big V and everything that's going on in 2020. So the way that I see it, this is what it kind of exists for. It kind of exists for that middle tier fan. Now, obviously, if you're a big fan of one of these characters that are going to be featured, you're probably going to want to pick it up. I know that I'm kind of intrigued by the Transformers Prime RC. I know if they do a Hot Rod, I'm probably going to pick that one up too. More of the off the cuff characters will be the ones that'll be interesting. Oh, that's an Eric Siebeneller design, Aaron, for the Classics Bumblebee. I didn't know that. Is Eric going to get a penny is the question. Funko! Anyways. Point is that, so, again, it serves its purpose. And, I mean, the Bumblebee, the one thing that I was saying in my segment, too, about him that I'm concerned about is these are 6-inch figures. If there's some kind of scale kept among themselves, like if Optimus Prime and Megatron and Soundwave are all to scale with each other, and so is Starscream, is Bumblebee going to be to scale with them? Is he going to be a lot smaller than the others? And if so, is it going to justify that full price MSRP that it originally had? That's something that's going to be interesting. I know that, like, what they do with the Marvel Legends is they go, oh, okay, the guy that's going to be the smaller figure is going to have the big Build-A-Figure piece with it or something, like Wendigo's torso or something. Or what they do with the Star Wars Black Series, sometimes they'll just make a price point specifically for those small figures. But I don't really see that happening here with this line. They're going to definitely slap Bumblebee into that, probably that full MSRP price point with that Energon Cube, that little blast weapon, and that blaster. And that'll be that, and he's going to be tiny. Elf's Bleed says he wants Alpha Trion. I think everyone wants Alpha Trion. I personally would love if this line handled a lot of those obscure characters, especially the ones that don't really need to transform because they never did. But at the same time, I don't think they'll do it because of what its intentions is for a more casual audience. A casual audience doesn't know who Alpha Trion is. A casual audience doesn't know a lot of those obscure characters like DevCon that we'd like to see. That's why we have, look at the initial wave is Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Soundwave. Boom. Part of the Legendary 7 right there. Look at this wave here. Bumblebee and Starscream, part of the Legendary 7. All you're missing is Grimlock and Devastator, and you literally would have the Legendary 7. What's else in that? There's Cheetor, so any 90s kid, even if they're not a fan of Transformers today, remembers Cheetor. RC, so that tackles the hardcore, Transformer Prime fans. And then the leaks that we've seen online, we're going to be getting an Optimus Primal, and then we're getting repaints of these previous stuff. So we're going to get another kind of Starscream, probably another Seeker Jet. We're going to get a battle damaged Megatron, probably, and a battle damaged Optimus Prime. They said they're redecos. We don't know what it'll be, but it's going to be something. It's going to be something. And getting the Starscream, like, I mean, I have, it's hard, you can't see, it's all the way over there. But I have, many years ago in 2001, there was a line called SCF PVC, and they did the Super SCF PVCs, which are about 4 inches to 5 inches, a little smaller than these ones. And they did a Starscream that was regular Starscream, and then it had all the parts to make King Starscream. It did the job back then. It actually had one extra accessory that this doesn't even come with, which also came with a hand with Megatron and gun mode. And recently they showed what this thing's going to come with through the designers for R.E.D. So here's everything you're pretty much going to come with this Starscream. So you get the 2 blast weapons, 2 different open hands, 2 closed hands, the shoulder pads, and the Starscream crown for King Starscream for all of 5 seconds. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Again, I have not picked up any of these yet. My friend bought the Soundwave. It was nice. The Soundwave was nice. I wasn't feeling the Optimus. Optimus kind of looked kind of weird. But the Soundwave looked nice. Had the little cassette that he could hold. Sure, that's kind of cool. But again, the MSRP just doesn't do it for me. It's too expensive. It's something that when it goes on sale, if it's like, no joke, $10, $5, sure, I'll pay $5. But I don't know about this. I don't know. It's not. But again, it's not for me. It doesn't target me. So I could understand why it doesn't appeal to me. But there's someone out there who doesn't have a decent Starscream toy or wants to have just something for their desk, and this will fit that void. Especially like, if you didn't get Starscream from Earthrise and you don't pick them up during the Kingdom re-release. We'll see then. Speaking of also really awesome looking non-transforming figures, I talked about it just today in my stream, my segment. Let's talk about Flame Toys revealing their Rodimus, IDW Rodimus design. And damn, looks real good. Looks real good. Real good. I mean, they said 50 points of articulation, 3 sets of hands, interchangeable weapons, 2 guns, interchangeable tri-blasters, all kinds of stuff. Incredible. And I built these. I can't show right now on camera, but I have the Starscream and the Bumblebee. And granted, I've been building model kits for 25 plus years, so I kind of have experience in that, but I could see how individuals that have never built a model kit in their life would have no problem doing these. They're all molded in color on the runners. I mean, you could obviously put some little extra paint into it if you want, and if you got like a Gundam marker, which is pretty much it's pretty much a marker, black marker, you could kind of like, you know, color in all the little fine details. But ultimately, in the end, I mean, damn, it looks really good. It looks really good. And if you're a fan of the IDW books and what James Roberts and Alex did, you know, and this is a really good looking figure. And that's what Flame Toys has really been doing recently, is they've really been focusing on stuff that Hasbro is not going to do. So because Hasbro is not going to do that stuff, they'll do it instead, and they get that market. It fills the void. And hopefully they continue what they're doing, because there's so much really good stuff here. I mean, I love their kits. Their kits are really high quality stuff. It's nice to see something that's not Bandai of Japan making those kits. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And, you know, we'll see what they have. They still have to reveal all their other kits. I think we're going to be getting full galleries of all the stuff that they've discussed in the past. So we're probably going to see the Optimus Primal, the Windblade, and all of those. So I'm looking forward to all of those. I really am, because the others too. The Optimus Primal is very interesting. The Windblade is interesting to me. I'm not affected by any of that controversy. I think it looks great, you know. So I'm very curious what it's going to bring. I really do. And last but not least in the news, also Symbiote Studios revealed their latest set to their ongoing plush series of plushes. Symbiote Studios obviously is also a sponsor, so I'm going to bring up their stuff. But their Megatron just was released just a couple days ago, so that's pretty awesome. So now they have a Megatron. It obviously is going to come with a Megatron medallion pin, but they also started rolling out their G.I. Joe stuff. And so you have their Snake Eyes with Timber, comes as a set together. It's slightly more expensive. I think it's $29, and their Cobra Commander. And they're also going to be releasing another one, certain guy all the way there on the right, very, very soon. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. And again, if you want, the promo code is right there. If you go to their website, symbiotestudios.com, go to the Transformer section, use the promo code PROTOMASS. That's such a tongue twister. PROTOMASS, which is Protoman and Xmas together, so PROTOMASS. You get $10 off your first order. So check that out. And they have, like, right now, I mean, here's like the full stock of everything that's available, and they keep adding. You know, Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3. You know, there's tons of more stuff coming. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. I'm wearing their Optimus, the Freedom is the Right of All Sentient Being ones. The pins are awesome. I have the pin too. All the different pin sets that they have. Check out their stuff. Really cool. It's nice to see an ongoing plush line, because there's always been only one-shots of it, you know? It's always been like, oh, here's Optimus Prime and Slumblebee, and then nothing ever again. Or like Hallmark will do like a couple of little plushes, and then nothing ever again. Or like there was that one Creo plush that they did for like, I think it was like $27 at Walmart, and then you never saw it ever again. They just did the one Bumblebee. So this is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. But speaking of Walmart, so I got a lot of crazy stuff this week. So essentially, for people that weren't aware, in Canada, Walmart went a little crazy. It's the holiday season coming up. Siege is excuse me, not Siege. Earthrise is on its way out. Kingdom is on its way in. And Walmart in Canada has been blowing out everything that has Earthrise on it and then some. So deluxes have been down to $7 Canadian, which is like, excuse me, $9 Canadian, which is about $7 American. $7 American for a deluxe. The Battle Master class is $3. So that's like $1.97 to get Rung or, Slitherfang. And even the larger price points have also been slashed in prices in specific locations. So the Skywarp Thundercracker 2-pack was dropped to $50 Canadian, which is like $35 American. So it's been getting pretty crazy. It's been getting pretty crazy. And all of these prices are nuts. And so I was picking up stuff because I was just like, look, now's the time to buy. So like I didn't have Smashdown, but for $3, I'm going to have Smashdown. $3 is enough for me. I also picked up Shy Guy from Super Mario just because I love Shy Guy. He's awesome. This one came in the mail. I was finally waiting. I was worried that this was going to get dropped on me. I was so worried that this was going to get dropped on me. So many times Amazon cancels orders, but I finally got this guy. He actually was on special, which is still not really that great compared to the American price, but he was $49.99 as opposed to $59. So, I mean, either way, pretty cool. Gigawatt. I'm going to crack him open. Can't wait to get my hands on him. This was also on special, so I just picked it up. All these Spider-Man animated series figures are out, and they already are on special at Walmart because Walmart can't discern the difference between regular Legends and this stuff. So these were dropping at $19 Canadian, which is like $15 American. So they're just going nuts. And here's the big one. I wasn't even planning on picking this up. I love Blaster. He was my first Transformer toy. But this guy right here is $19 Canadian, which is like $15 American. So, sure, why not? Again, clearance. They're just blowing out everything at Walmart. If you are Canadian right now, go to Walmart and check out what's going on because they are just getting rid of everything. So, hey, sure, I'll own a reissue Blaster to join all my other blasters. That's crazy. And this one here is one. I bought an entire box of the latest wave of Tiny Turbo Changers because they were $1 each. So an entire box of, I believe there was 27 in here. Obviously someone got to it. There was 27. I bought all of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously make a full set for myself. And then the leftovers I'm going to throw into the higher tier patrons of my Patreon as a little extra gift when I do the gift boxes that I ship out. So you're going to get a little tiny turbo changer. Thank you, Walmart, for making those ridiculously cheap. At $1 each Canadian, that's like, 75 cents American? I don't know. And the big one was I picked up this guy for $50 Canadian, which is about 35 American. And I heavily suggest if you were in Canada, go out and get this guy. Because he's ridiculously cheap right now. So, lo and behold, no surprise, it takes a dive. And that's what I always tell you guys. Like, it's nuts what the MSRP is for Transformers initially, and then what happens afterwards. This happens. This happens all the time. And it happened, like, I remember on my Twitter, I picked up, like, almost all of Siege, all the Deluxes, Voyagers, and Leaders, at like almost 50% off because they were just unloading it going into Earthrise. So save your money, guys. Save your money. Wait it out. Don't always go crazy. Go out there and pick your characters that you like. But if you really, are stingent on money, it's always better to kind of wait out. I'm not made out of money. Don't let this this big collection fool you. This was bought over 30 plus years of collecting. and being very frugal with my money. This wasn't because I spend every dime I get here. So I wait for sales, and all those like everything going on here. These $9 deluxes. Shout out to Matt McNally, my buddy. He found a whole stack of the ones I was missing and picked them up for me. So I'm gonna have a whole bunch of the ones that I didn't get very soon. Also, this is a prime example of sometimes people are overpaying way too much for Transformer toys. But that's more or less this week in news and what has been going on in the world. And it's been pretty good otherwise. But what's going on in the world right now and the lockdowns and everything, and it was super busy, and I really didn't want to stick around that long in a Walmart or a Toys R Us. I just kind of go in, do my business and get out. I didn't even do groceries because groceries was absolutely crazy. It was it's getting even here in Canada, it's getting a little out of hand. It really is. So it's something that I just hope everyone's staying safe and being smart about stuff. I don't want anyone to catch the big V and give your friends and family and coworkers a headache. But either way, let's let's just hope that everything is fine. So let's go to the chat, see what people are talking about. Looks like there's always some kind of craziness going on in the chat. Most of this stuff is always always crazy people. I've always said, my whole life, about 10% of the Transformer fandom is absolutely out of their minds. And when the fandom used to be only a small, maybe 100 fans online, you had like 10 guys that were crazy. And then when it was 1,000 fans, you had about 100 guys that were crazy. Now the online fandom numbers in the tens of thousands, and the crazies just keep showing up. But that's how it is. But either way, doesn't make much of a difference. The way that I see it, we're just going to keep moving forward despite how crazy the world is right now. And hopefully, what I'm more curious about more than anything is the long-term effects on the toy industry, the long-term effects on people's wallets, because even though we're in this kind of like soft, lockdown, I guess we'll call it, because everything is being done at 60%. I'm very curious how the toy industry is going to react to it, and the buying audience and everything, because it's something that we're not going to feel now. We're going to feel that 2 years from now. It's something that's going to reverberate later, and we'll see what happens then. Because I always used to say, like, if you look at a lot of Transformers that came out in 2009, 2010, early 2008, like right in the heat of that recession that happened the first time, a lot of those figures were really tough to get in the secondary market for the longest time before people stopped caring about them. Like a Revenge of the Fallen Jetfire and Leader Class Optimus Prime from Revenge of the Fallen were going for some decent coin, because at the time people were going through a recession, so not every kid could have that, or even adults who were collectors could pick it up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to be that market in 2 to 3 years from now, and what people are going to be paying. But at the end of the day, we'll see. It's hard to predict stuff. I know that one of my old videos that I think I did it 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Like I was talking about, what do I see? Where's Transformers going to be going in the 2 to 3 years? And I said, Micromasters and Beast Wars. And well, that kind of happened. But that didn't happen because I knew how to predict stuff. It was just pretty obvious where we were going. What hasn't been done, what is going to be done, what trademarks need to be used. It was pretty obvious. I think the only one that didn't get didn't show up was Jaws D's prediction of Battle Beasts. That one didn't happen, unfortunately, but otherwise everything else did. But yeah. So then, what's happening with everyone today? See if there's any questions we got. Do you wish for a War for Cybertron Skids? Well, Skids wasn't exactly a top tier character. I mean, unless you were a big fan of the IDW comics, that's probably like Skids' greatest claim to fame is the IDW books. And the Skids that we got in that had a toy that matched how he looked in that book, so you really want a representation of that one. But yeah. PCU wants to know, Proto, may I ask, who do you think the next commander figure for Kingdom will be? Well, the rumor that I keep seeing everywhere, and this isn't confirmed, but it's just the rumor that everyone keeps saying, is everyone keeps saying Rodimus. Everyone keeps saying it's going to be Rodimus, and he's going to have this big trailer, and the trailer is going to open up into a base, and it's going to still have the little ramps and stuff, like all the other kind of gimmicks and the ramps and the connections of the pieces for building play sets, and it's going to be interactable with the Ark that'll also have the ramp gimmick. That's what everyone keeps saying. That's just the ongoing thing I keep seeing. And maybe, sure, okay. It does kind of go in line with the Galvatron going back in time crossover thing, I guess. It does kind of align with if that Spike figure that comes with Buzzworthy Bumblebee, maybe it's also he came with Rodimus. I don't know. It's that's the general consensus that people have been saying. Nothing has been confirmed. There's no images, there's no leaked stuff, there's no listings from Walmart, so we do not know. That's just what I've been hearing. Would I pick Rodimus? I don't know. And that's coming from a guy who absolutely loves that character. But at the same time, I would have went with something more Beast Wars, but I also don't know the sales numbers right now for Kingdom because we don't have sales numbers. Is Kingdom going to do well with the mass audience that make a primary amount of the purchasing power for this product that Hasbro pays attention to? If Kingdom is a huge success and those Beast Wars toys sell very, very well with a casual audience or parents and stuff like that, then the Commander would make sense to be a Beast Wars related figure. Obviously, it'd be way too late in the game to make that decision. The Commander figure has probably already been decided months and months ago. So we shall see. We shall see. Protoman, do you think we'll get a Slipstream anytime soon? Maybe Earthrise or the Siege mold? I think we're going to get something Slipstream at some point, but the thing is that she'll probably get a toy, but it'll more be because of a trademark reason. We just had a whole bunch of slips. I always do this because I'm pointing at my collection of Cyberverse toys. We had a whole bunch of Cyberverse Slipstream toys. So the incentive, I mean, just recently, here, I'll just pull it out right here. The Tiny Turbo Changer Slipstream. And keep in mind, Tiny Turbo Changers, I'm going to pull this up right here. Might as well. It's all about keeping those trademarks, So, Tiny Turbo Changer Slipstream 2020, keeping that trademark alive. Assuming, I don't know the exact expiring date on Slipstream's trademark, I'd have to look it up, but assuming that it's expiring soon, then, or if it's just expired, it's been refreshed recently and the Tiny Turbo Changer was part of that, who knows? But I don't see one anytime soon. Just because we've had something recently. That's kind of the way it is, unfortunately, is that it's, there's going to be a news segment I'm going to talk about tomorrow that's kind of related to this whole discussion because of a certain big toy that's seeing a re-release because of more of a trademark reason, if anything else. And that's usually the case of that. But that's kind of what I think. Dear Protoman, why do you resemble Jack Nicholson so much? I'm getting a Shining flashback. Do I have to hide all my axes? I don't know. I don't think I look like the Joker, though. But I guess you're referring to all work and all play makes Proto a dull boy. Well, he was a writer, too. So that was cool. Before he froze to death outside in the freezing cold. That's what happens when you lose your hair. You end up looking like Jack Nicholson. I'm the Joker. How do you think the perfect Autobot generic soldier body is? Well, I'm not a big fan of generic soldier bodies for Autobots or Decepticons because it kind of gives an out for writers, animators, or whatever to just have cannon fodder for characters, and all of a sudden all these deaths or battles have no consequence because you're not worried about it. Like, you look at two characters fighting and shooting at each other. If one gets hit, they could die. If you have a character fighting against a generic, there's no consequence. The generic's never going to make the killing blow. So I'm not a big fan of that as a whole. I don't like that. It's something it's the movie cliche that I hate, where the villain brings in all his generics and then the good guys destroy the main base and all the generics shut down. It's like episode 1 of Star Wars. They did that. They did that with the Avengers movie. Like, I hate generics because they're always like lifeless and they're so easily disposed of and there's no consequence. Like, you don't even feel satisfied if they're defeated. You're not definitely going to cheer them because they're not an individual character. Michael Koo, who's one of our members of our illustrious Transformer Slag podcast. Check out Michael's little jazz logo that he chose, which you get to choose after a couple months. Proto, why did Galvatron want to become his own version of Unicron? Well, that is a whole other story, because that has to do with the Transformers Headmasters anime, which that was the Japanese writing. And he just, it's like what was Megatron's endgame? Take over Cybertron, turn Cybertron in some kind of giant battle station, and take over the universe. What is, you're Galvatron now, you're crazy, you're crazy Frank Welker, although it's not even voiced by Frank Welker because it's the Japanese version of Headmasters. You're crazy Galvatron now, post season 3. So now you want to be Unicron. You want to be as strong as Unicron. You've tasted that planet destroyer power. So that's what I'm assuming is where they were going with that. Thank goodness none of that ever happened. The closest he came to that was when he became Super Megatron and then merged with Dark Nova and then became Star Giant. So he was a giant transforming head in the sky. I don't know. That's some niche continuity stuff that not a lot of people know about. Protoman, do you think they will release a Netflix Siege Ratchet? Well, we did kind of get that. We got the Walgreens one, which was a pretty good mold, actually. I liked it. But we'll get a mass release? Probably not. Some molds, the sad thing is they kind of do their thing and then we never see them again. And then they're never revisited again. And then Hasbro, a couple years later will revisit the character again and do a better version. Think about all the people that probably were going crazy back in the day with Universe 2.0 and Classics trying to get that Ratchet. And trying to get their perfect Ratchet. And, now look at us now with a Earthrise, Amazon 2-pack. And people going crazy for that. So we'll see what happens. By the way, guys, if I miss any of your questions, just ask them again. I know they zoom by so quickly because so many people are posting. Sometimes you have people that just post the same thing over and over, and it bumps away your questions. So just keep at it. Springa, my boy, helps a hand. Hey, Proto, is there any more news about Transformers crossover figures? Nothing yet. The last news we got was that X-Men one, which has been it looks cool, but part of me is also like, I kind of wish they made it its own mold instead of just retooling Jetfire. I really do. It doesn't look like the Blackbird that I know. So the rumor that I'm hearing and again, this is just rumors, is next year they're going to be tackling something with Knight Rider, if not Power Rangers. That's what I keep hearing. Nothing is confirmed. This is just, small groups of people all repeating the same thing. It could be one guy said it and then everyone repeated it and it just sounded like a lot of people saying the same thing. So we'll find out. Dear Proto, can we all agree that Marvel Megatron is the most evil version? I mean, he lobotomized his own troops. Most evil Megatron is Beast Wars Megatron, because he was willing to kill everybody, take over Cybertron, and be the lone sentient survivor. So, Beast Wars Megatron is the true megalomaniac. And unlike G1 Megatron, he pulled it off, at least for a moment. Long live David K. Where are we at here? Where are we at? What are your thoughts on Combiner Wars Devastator? He's good. I have him. The problem is the problem with combiners, and I've always had this feeling, is that we buy them because of the hype of the combiner mode and the big robot, and we never really get to enjoy the individual modes that much. So, I have Combiner Wars Devastator, and I have the San Diego Comic-Con one too. And you don't get to enjoy that that individual robot mode or even the alt modes that much, because you just kind of want to have it in that big mode. It's cool. I dig it. When that thing came out, so many people got rid of their third-party ones, so that was a lesson learned for many people. But it's a good figure. Although, I think I have it still on my phone from all those years ago. I've had my phone for like 5 years now. I think he was at one point I want to say, man, he was really cheap in Canada at one point at Costco. Let me see if I still have that post somewhere. One sec. I might even have it here. It just shows you how recent it was. It wasn't too long ago. Let me see. No, I don't think I have it anymore. Maybe not. I know I'll post it when I do the news segment. If I find it, I'll post it. Jeez, look at these old BotCon photos. But it's just he was originally, I think I picked him up for 90 Canadian from Costco, which, keep in mind, that's the closeout price, so that's not a good example. But that's 75 American. Now he's 125. So it's still good. It's a big figure. If you could somehow get it with free shipping, it'll work out for the best for you. But he's a good figure. And I don't know when's the next time they're going to revisit that, Hey, Proto, what happened to the golden age of Cybertron between G1 and Beast Wars? Well, you're forgetting G2. Japan covered the G2 story, which a lot of stuff happened there. There was actually a union of the factions. Megatron and Optimus actually had a team together. They were wearing capes and everything. I actually have the third-party figure of that just because I love that. And then the war started again, and that's that. There was a golden age at some point. The Japanese did little story pages, and they were also little manga pages that were included with the G2 toys in Japan. There was a golden age. It just wasn't told properly through animation, unfortunately, because Transformers was on a decline between 91 and 95. It was probably some of the thinnest years for the brand until Beast Wars came around. Proto, 2 questions. Do you think there will be a Netflix siege? Do you think we will get a Netflix siege Jetfire? There already is one. It's the Commander class. Do you think it is possible that Kingdom Leader Galvatron will be a remold? Sorry, people are asking questions. A remold? No, I don't think he's going to be a remold. I think he'll be his own mold. Everything got pushed up. Sorry, I couldn't read it because everything moves. Dear Proto, who would you cast for a live-action Last Stand of the Wreckers movie? I would go with Ron. Well, I would go with voice actors. I don't think we need to have actors for movies. I understand why studios do it, because they want to say, starring this B-list actor who's not good to be an A-list actor anymore. Starring this guy, and Eddie Murphy is so-and-so, and da-da-da. But I would get talented voice actors. If you're going to have Last Stand of the Wreckers and have Springer, how are you not going to have Neil Ross? Really? You're going to want, I don't know, anybody instead of Neil Ross? Come on. I understand why they would want to hire actors. Again, blame Aladdin for that and later on Shrek. But at the same time, I'd rather go with the original voice actor. Someone like Impactor, yeah, sure, bring in Ron Perlman. But wasn't Ron Perlman Optimus Primal in the Machinima stuff? And that worked out well. Those series were terrible. So, whatever. We'll see what happens. Where are we at here? Proto, what is your favorite Thrilling 30 figure? Mine is Goldfire. Oh, Thrilling 30 figure. I'm going to go with probably Whirl, because Whirl was just so unexpected, and Roadbuster too. Those Voyagers, I didn't think those were ever going to get made. Those were two really cool ones. Springer was awesome too. There's a lot of good Voyagers from those Thrilling 30s. I can't really put it down to one. I'll put those three though, because those were really unexpected. Like, like Goldfire's cool, but we're probably going to get another, Goldbug at some point. So I'll go with those. Those are pretty cool. Dear Proto, okay, someone asked the same question again. I got United Warrior, love him. The Devastator, yeah. Why is Scorponok so small in the Netflix trailer? We'll see. I don't know. We will see. We will see. There are thousands of cycles between 12 defeating Unicrons and the Megatron Rebellion. If Kingdom was Super Megs, then we remolded into a Megatron himself. Where else? Hey Proto, do you think at some point we might even get Shattered Glass adapted into animation? TF Animated would have been the first to do so. Yeah, well, Derek Wyatt talked about that. If season 4 of Animated would have happened, there would have been some kind of Shattered Glass alternate universe, Elseworld kind of storyline. Shattered Glass slowly is creeping into fiction. It's just that the way that storytelling is being told right now, let's put it, Cyberverse. We have Cyberverse. 10-minute episodes, not really a lot of time to tell a story. If there was a Shattered Glass episode, and there kind of was in a lot of ways, they were really talking about alternate universes and stuff. We just never got the Shattered Glass. But it would be like a 10-minute thing. The flip side of it is we got what's going on with Kingdom right now and Earthrise. Six episodes, 30 minutes, not a lot of time to tell a story. Comic books is probably the only place we could probably see that at the moment. But I'd like to see it. There's Shattered Glass is the old trope of every comic book and cartoon series of all time that always gets revisited at some point. It's the what if stories, and Transformers, I'm sure, is going to at some point put pencil to paper and have some kind of animation. Just when? Who knows? Who knows? Hey, Proto, do you think at some point we might... Okay, no, I already saw that. What repaints? No. Hey, Proto, what would Optimus Prime see Jetfire old? What would he do with him? Are you referring to movie Optimus Prime? And what happened to Jetfire? He just shrugged him off, and that was the end of that. Machinima wasn't bad because of Ron Perlman. Oh, no, I wasn't saying it's because it was bad because of Ron Perlman. I just think that sometimes voice actors in the hands of bad situations... I mean, look, Judd Nelson came back for Hot Rod. And does anyone remember that stellar performance of the Machinima series? Of course not. He was used for like 3 lines, phoned them in, and that was that for the Hot Rod. So it's all about voice directors and what I like to call proper voice acting, where it's actually all the voice actors together and they're recording and they're playing off of each other, and then it's animated around that. That's the big problem that the Siege series had, and probably the Earthrise series is going to have too. Booth studio voice acting. You come in, you read your voices, no one else is around, and that's it. And there's no organic chemistry going on there. Proto, sorry if I confuse you. I meant Walmart exclusive series of Netflix figures to paint Jetfire. Also, I'm collecting 2 lines Kingdom and Studio series. I want to add Netflix. Well, the problem is that all the Netflix stuff that we've had thus far, with the exception of the spoiler packs, have always been either deluxes or Voyagers. So I don't really see them doing a exclusive that's a Commander class. That's a lot of shelf space that I'm pretty sure Walmart doesn't want to allocate to that. They already have their big spoiler box figure, which is a leader class with an extra figure, and those honestly haven't been doing very well because Ultra Magnus just showed up at Ollie's, and you could pick them up for $29.90. Is it $29.99 or $24.99 on mega clearance at Ollie's? So those spoiler packs did not do well. Lesson learned there. They weren't that great to begin with. Elf's Bleed says he's another one of our members, and he's rocking the Bumblebee icon. Kingdom looks like it'll deal with an alternate timeline, just not shattered glass. Yep, that's totally what it is. It's just, it's like, it's what if, as Marvel would call it, the what if universes. It's like, well, what if Dinobot stayed with the Predacons? What if, this happened? What if that happened? What if this character joined this team? So we'll see what happens with that. Kingdom, I'm very excited about, just because it's very different than what we've had literally for the past 13 years with classics. It's really going in another direction. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Where are we at? Dear Proto, would you like to see Bob Ford serve as a creative consultant for the upcoming Beast Wars film? I would rather have Bob Ford be the writer. Bob Ford is an amazing writer. He's worked on a lot of cartoons that I love. Biker Mice from Mars, the Godzilla cartoon. She-Ra, the original one. He's the co-creator. Dude is amazing. I'd rather have Bob Ford back all the way because he's going to do character development. A Beast Wars film is going to be hired by some hotshot, slick, Hollywood writer that's going to belt something out after 17 drafts and focus groups, and hopefully it'll be half decent, hopefully. I hope. I've kind of lost hope with these movies, going into every one of them with hope. Do you think we will get a 3-pack of Scorponok, Pterosaur, and Tarantulas? No, I think at some point they'll be released as individual figures. There's too much potential there to do that as individuals. As a 3-pack. And I don't think that price point exists right now, outside of it being a Generation Selects thing. But they wouldn't do it as a Generation Selects. Gary Chalk mentioned that he thinks that all the Earthrise Kingdom voices were recorded already in advance. Of course they were. Everything is... oh, you mean advances and it was done in a recording studio? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know about that. It doesn't sound like it. It really doesn't. And if it is, then they are just monotone talking to each other about everything. We must stop the Decepticons. Who are you? I know who you are. I don't trust you. Good. Never trust anyone. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, let me move this back. But it's just everyone has that pace, and it doesn't sound like people playing off of each other. It really doesn't. Proto, have you noticed that the Jetfire is an Earthrise toy? Do you think he die in Netflix Earthrise series? I don't know. I have to see the series. I don't know who's going to die and who's going to live. That's what you got to remember, guys. We don't know yet. 6 episodes to cram all of that in there. What repaints could be done from the Air Razor mold? Probably a heavy retool into something. What that could be, I don't know. There's not much you could do otherwise. Maybe those little pins on her back could make some kind of combiner and make a Tiger Hawk. I don't know. Just spitballing on that one. Dear Proto, would you like to see Shatter Dropkick start appearing in more TF continuities moving forward? Well, I always like new characters appearing in more continuities. Look, we got... we were introduced to Blackout, and then Blackout found his way into animated, so it's something that, sure, why not? Why not? New characters are always welcome. Always welcome. Hey, Proto, what is a great comic storyline from TF Lore you immediately recommend to anyone? And which stories from the comics would you like to adapt? If there's something that you want to just jump into right away and not really have to know anything before that, I suggest War Within by Don Figueroa and Simon Furman. It was a Dreamwave comic, very well done, 6 issues, good stuff, great art, great writing. There's one-shots like Spotlight Blur. That's a really good one. That's a personal favorite of mine. Spotlight Trail Cutter. Those are like the ones where you don't really have to have any investment and stuff before and you could still enjoy them. If you're talking stuff that you need a little bit of investment reading, the Simon Furman Matrix Quest issues number, I want to say, like starting at like 61 up until the end of 80, that bulk, that 20 issues more or less, that's some of my favorite Transformer comic book writing of all time. Even James Roberts, who, that's his jam too. And, everyone loves James's work, but if you ask James what he loves that stuff. So, so that's my personal favorite also. I really like that. I'm trying to think of a few others, but I'll go with those. The G.I. Joe versus Transformers Dreamwave version, while the art was a little dark, that was kind of fun too. That's another good one. I'm trying to think of stuff where you don't have to be too invested in like 50 issues of something else. You could just kind of jump into them. Dear Proto, do you think that Hasbro and Takara should have all G1 and Beast Wars series officially available on YouTube? Not if they can make money from it. If a streaming service is willing to pay you for exclusive rights of Beast Wars, why would you give it away for free on YouTube and just have ad revenue? Which YouTube takes a percentage of. Got to think about the business part of it. Hey, Proto, do you have any luck getting some exclusives? I was only lucky to get Ironhide Prowl. I haven't been able to get... Oh, man, Amazon's been canceling all my stuff. Canadians always have it tough. I recently went on a rant on Twitter and I attacked Amazon, and they even responded back because they canceled my mask Micromaster pack. They're just like, oh, you get it like months in advance, the pre-order, and then literally weeks before it's supposed to come out, they cancel your pre-order and just go, sorry, man. And there's nowhere else I could get it. Luckily, I ended up just buying it from Amazon.com instead, which ended up almost being cheaper than the Canadian one, which makes me wonder. Where are we at here? Proto, what do you think of the next toy line will be after Kingdom? We will see. Could be Armada. If Kingdom is ridiculously successful, it could be more Beast Wars. All depends on what's successful, what sells. That first wave is going to determine the rest of everything else. That first wave sells well because it'll be the most plentiful. Dear Proto, do you think that Pterosaur, Beast Wars, Inferno, and Tarantulas will be store exclusives? That's assuming that we even get them. That's it's chicken before the egg. We don't even have them, so we don't know. I have a question. I started to collect Transformers. Can you give me some good advice? Save your money. Don't buy stuff brand new. If you're just getting started into it, take a step back and look how the prices move. Look how stuff that is full price in a couple of weeks end up going on sale and deals. Transformers is an expensive hobby. Probably one of the most expensive hobbies you could have, no joke. So you want to be smart with your money. That's probably one of the biggest things I talk about on this podcast is Transformers finance, because people spend way too much money, way too quickly, and then have no money afterwards. So if my biggest advice, take a step back, go, I want that. Let's see how it moves in terms of value. Oh, I like this deluxe Earthrise for $29, well, not $29, whatever the MSRP is in the States right now. Take a step back, wait for deals when flyers come out. Get apps that have flyers. Like there's a great one called Flip. I don't know, it's a Canadian one. I don't know if there's American version, but Flip, you get all the flyers updated every Thursday. So oh, these are on special, these are on special, these are on special. Go to Walmart, scan stuff on Walmart. Oh, hey, I like this figure. How much is this? Even though it says $29.99 on the tag, you scan it, it might be $5. The clearance. Always look around for deals. Don't pay full price. It's ridiculous what they're asking right now. And way too many people are blowing all their cash. and ending up with like 2 deluxes after everything is said and done. Where I bought a fat stack today on everything clearance. Clearance. Hey Pro, do you think Siege or Trilogy is better? I'm going to assume you mean Earthrise. K-Master, ask the question again, please. Downright Superb, the first to give us a super chat, because Downright Superb is awesome. I just want to say that right now. Thank you, Downright Superb. Not to waste more time with Netflix series. I could be watching Japanese stuff or reading those translated mangas. You know it, brother. I love these things. This you should get. Anyone who... Because these, what's going to happen is when these get out of print, these are going to be ridiculously expensive in the secondary market. You're just going to have guys on Amazon scalping these afterwards. So get these Transformers The Manga by Viz. I'm not even sponsored by them. Just pick these up. You're not going to regret it. We should support quality. Yes, we should. And that is a quality release, let me tell you. Those are better than the original Japanese versions. I was shocked by those. But thank you, Downright Superb. You are awesome, brother. Where are we at? New collector advice. Watch eBay. Know the prices. Yep, exactly. Just, you gotta know what, like, guys, I'm going to say this. You have the most powerful tool in the universe sitting in your pocket. This thing is so powerful. I didn't have this in the 2000s when I was buying Energon toys. I didn't know ongoing market value of prices and everything like that. You have the time. You could stand right there in the aisle, look up, and see if you're getting a deal or not. Don't waste it on cat videos or pictures of Proto Man at 9:07. You know? Hey Proto, what figures from Kingdom do you think will shelf warm? Probably, I'd hate to say it, but I'm scared that those fossilizers are probably going to be the guys that are going to stick behind. I really do. They look cool though, but I think those are going to be the guys that are going to be shelf warming. Where are we at here? Dear Proto, my VA choices for scavengers are... See, it's a whole bunch of actors. Sure, hey, if you like those. I'm not big on actors. I don't get starstruck. I've met practically every single Transformer voice actor that's alive. And I think the only time ever in my life I was starstruck was when I met Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos. I think that was the only time. Are Transformer Mighty Mugs dead? For the time being, until they need to use the trademark again. But they're currently showing up in Family Dollar on clearance, so I'd say yes right now. Dear Proto, I've heard of a potential online Transformers game that is going to take inspiration from Warframe. The Autobots and Decepticons will be working together to stop a threat. What are your thoughts? It's the first I hear of it. The only online game that I was hearing about was an FPS shooter that was supposed to be done by the guys who... It's a Chinese company. And that's all that I've ever heard of, but we never got any more information about that. Where are we at? Does Proto... where are we at here? Oh, here we go. Proto. Does the third manga novel go over Operation Combination and Battlestars? And yes, it does, actually. Yes, it does. And it has... Let me just reach for it again. Ugh. And it has amazing, never-before-seen Operation Combination even art in the back. Like some nice cleaned up art. So there's a lot of really good stuff. It's a great book. Great book. Michael Koo wants to know. How you doing, Michael? When new Transformer pre-orders go live, multiple retailers never go to Hasbro Pulse. Hasbro Pulse deliberately limits their pre-orders because they don't want to lose money with free shipping. That is true, and also because Hasbro Pulse themselves don't want to have to carry a lot of stock. It's a lot easier for distributors to sell to Walmart and Walmart just sits on their stock and it's their problem. So for them to have an excessive amount of stock and some of it doesn't sell and they're stuck with it forever and it's in their possession, it's better to have a small amount of stock. When it sells out, hey, it's good. You have to understand, when companies, selling out is a good thing. For us, it's not, but for them, it is. Dear Proto, what are your thoughts on G1 Funko figures? If you like them, you like them. It's not for me. I've gone on huge rants about Funko. I firmly believe that, it's people are paying way too much money for literally 2 pieces of plastic molded together. And when you think about the amount of intricacy even a simple Cyberverse toy will have, there's like at least minimum probably 3 dozen pieces with this, and paint apps, at least like 12 paint apps. I don't know. It's not for me. It's not for me. I just went on a rant how I don't like overpaying for Transformers. Why would I overpay for something that's just does that? And maybe you could turn the head, But hey, if it makes you happy, that's awesome, bro. But for me, not for me. Not for me. The Mighty Mugs did more. At least they had the face changing gimmick. And the older Mighty Mugs, at least they had accessories and articulation. Proto Man, hate to ask, but do you think the old Studio Series figures will go to places like Ollie's and Ross when they are obsolete? Well, that's assuming that stuff that shows up in Ollie's is usually overstock. Stuff that didn't do well, and there's huge pallets of it that are just sitting in distributor warehouses. Those end up at Ollie's. And most of the time, it's big product, because big product takes a lot of space. That's why when Ollie's had Triptychon, when Ollie had Omega, who else did Ollie's have? Ollie's has like a whole bunch. Now they have the spoiler packs. Imagine, Walmart exclusive spoiler packs. Now they're at Ollie's. Big, clunky, get in the way, waste of shelf space product for retailers. Hey, Proto Man, do you think the new Japanese Beast Wars Generation book yet? Yes, I do have it. Oh, man, it's I don't have it here. It's up in my bedroom. I was posting scans of it recently. I love that book. Pick up that book. Guys, if you do not get that book, that's another thing, too. That's going to go up in value like crazy later on. It's already $50. It's $50 USD, that book, before shipping. That's going to be a $100 book later. Trust me, there is so much stuff in that book that I want to scan, turn into slides, and you, Aaron, we're going to do something with those slides, because there's a lot of a story to talk about with some of those, especially the Beast Machine stuff. Proto, I suspect Commander will be Optimal Optimus. Maybe. I don't think they're going to really go in that route. That's way too late. I don't think they're going to go Season 3 stuff yet. And they already gave us an Optimal Optimus not too long ago. So I don't think that'll happen yet. Massive missed opportunity with Mighty Mugs Blitzwing. Yeah, I know. I agree with you on that one. Multiple faces. But it's different development companies that are working on different stuff in Hasbro. So they obviously weren't aware of what was going on in animated at the time. Why doesn't Hasbro automatically do a second run on online stuff that sells out in an hour? Because they don't care, because they have a certain amount of numbers, and when it sells out, yay. Because if, let's say they had 100 of them, and those sold out, right? And they go, well, we need another 100 now. If those 100 don't sell out, let's say they only sell like 60 of them, and then they're stuck with 40, they're stuck with 40. And they don't want to deal with that. You know who they want to have stuck with 40? Walmart. Target. Let it be their problem, not theirs. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes when they're stuck with product, they're stuck with product. It's happened in the past many times. Proto, when do they reveal Kingdom Arc Titan? How fast do you think he will sell out? He'll sell out quickly on Hasbro Pulse. He'll show up on all the other websites and be just fine. Because Omega Supreme didn't sell out on his launch. Triptychon didn't sell out on his launch. Even Metroplex. Back in the day, there was plenty of them. Hey, Proto Man, do you hate Transformium? No. Do you have a Walmart? Do you have Walmarts in Canada? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's where I was today, where I got all my deals, yo. Walmart was bumping. Walmart was bumping, man. Look at these sales, man. $9 deluxes. That's $7.50 American for a deluxe Earthrise toy. Walmart was bumping. I got so much stuff. So yes, we do have Walmarts. Proto, the War for Cybertron toy line, was so easy to profit due to being the most definitive G1 to date for retailer price, basically mini masterpieces. Do you think Hasbro can top that? Hasbro doesn't, in my opinion, to me, topping something is doing something different. Getting me excited. Think about this. All these figures that we bought, we didn't buy them because we were excited about new product that's on television or in movies. We bought it because of our perception of old stuff. You bought Earthrise stuff because of how much you love Starscream from a cartoon 30 years ago. And that's great, but at the same time, it's not good for the long run of the future because how can you top that? Exactly. To me, you want to impress me? Make a new show with new characters, with new toys that make me want to go out and buy it. Cyberverse had different interpretations of new characters that before you know it, I'm buying Clobber. I'm buying, Rack and Rune. I'm buying, the Cheetor. The Cheetor kind of gimmick. To me, do something different. That way, I'm excited for that. That's what I would like. Different. Beast Wars was different. Armada was different. Animated was different. And we loved it. We loved it. Hey, Proto, with all the G1 characters going into the War for Cybertron line, what will be left for Studio Series 86? Plenty. Don't worry. Here's the thing. By the time some of those characters, let's put it this way. Who do we have right now? We have, let's see, what would be something that was an Earthrise that could have been in Studio Series. Let's use Hoist and Grapple, right? Give it 3 years, there's going to be a new Hoist and Grapple. Give it 3 years, there's going to be a new Ratchet. The cycle will continue. The trademarks will have to be refreshed, and we will get something else again. The new, and then some of these people here today might not even be part of the fandom anymore. They'll move on to something else. So there's a new cycle of fans too. The average lifespan, I've been going to Transformer conventions since 2001. The average lifespan of most Transformer fans that I have seen is between 5 and 7 years. Usually a lot of people disappear and then new people fill in those voids. So when you're putting out figures, there's always going to be some guy that never got a Ratchet figure. There's always going to be some guy that never got a Hoist figure. So, we'll see. Look, TFCon 2007, movie time, was very different crew of people, TFCon 2019. Two different animals. So, we'll see what happens. Michael Koo wants to know, Protoman, why did Hasbro, with 2 different colors for War for Cybertron Earthrise Trailbreaker, this is still bugging me. Probably a running change. I can't confirm this, but you'd probably have to look at the case assortments, which you would see. Let me show you an example. So, usually near the UPC, I hope this focus. There you go. You have assortment number. See, it's right there at the top, EB. So, if you have two of those Trailbreakers. Actually, I think the Earthrise packaging box would be better. Right here. There you go. See it? Right above there. Focus. Come on. Oh, there you go. So get that assortment number. They might have 2 different assortment numbers, and thus you would know if it was a running change or not, and that's probably what happened. Sometimes it's 2 different factories. They use 2 different. They use 3 different plastics factories for certain stuff, so that's what sometimes happens. Usually there's a consistency, but sometimes there's mistakes. I ordered, green 3347 and they ordered green 3348 and you end up with a different shade of green. I collected from classics until Thrilling 30. Kingdom and Beast Wars is what brought me back, says Elves Bleed, who's also one of our members. And thank you, Elves Bleed, for joining the member team with your beautiful Bumblebee icon. Kingdom is going to bring a lot of people back, though, because Beast Wars was a big part of a lot of people's Transformer fandom. So it'll be interesting to see. Dear Proto, would you want Megatron's characterization to be in the Bumblebee sequel, cackling G1 psychopath, or well-intentioned IDW Megs? Well, I always feel that when you're making a movie for a mainstream audience, you can't make it too complicated for the audience. Like, you can't like have the wink and the nudge, like, oh hey, this is, you know, the reason why Megatron's like this because of a comic book that literally no one read. You know? So, and when I mean no one read, I mean like the moviegoer audience. So you can't really do that. So you're going to have to go with traditional Megatron. And if you want to then make that Megatron something else later, you could build to that. Why give that right away when there's character development that can happen over multiple movies? Make people excited to see the next movie for character development. Make people not want to miss a Guardians of the Galaxy because they might feel they might be missing out on something when you get to Avengers. That's how you write movies. Or you can make them that if you saw Revenge of the Fallen, skipped Dark of the Moon, and then went to Age of Extinction, you feel like you didn't miss anything. And that's a problem. Where are we at here? Proto, are you into collecting the Diaclone reboot line? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. They are very expensive, but I've been selective with some stuff. I got the little figure packs, and I pre-ordered the Optimus. The Battle Convoy, essentially, we'll call it. I can't wait to get him. I was eyeing the King Woderos one, but it was very pricey. And it looks like they're going to be making some of the even bigger price point stuff, like, what's it called there? Roboto Base X, which is, that's going to be pricey. Aaron, 347 is PMS green. Did you know that? All Batman animated characters used this color of green. I guess I just took a guess on that one. Probably Deep Dive Batman, Underwater Batman, Jungle Batman. The kings of repaints and accessories. Actually, probably He-Man predates that, but still. Hey Proto, with all the G1 alt modes so close to their licensed modes, why does Hound get the hard shaft? No, he doesn't really. Not too much. He's a Jeep, and Jeeps are probably the most generic, so he's able to kind of get away with it. I mean, I always felt like, even, like, when you look at his, you can't really see it, his alternator up there, pretty darn good. His first Classics toy, I think it was Universe 2.0 that had it, was pretty good. No, not Universe 2.0, Universe 1.0. But yeah, I think Hound had a lot of good toys. He's one of the less tough ones to do. Just his Masterpiece got the shaft because of bad quality. Proto, what is your all-time favorite Transformer? For me, it's either Bumblebee, due to Prime, or Soundwave, because of he's Soundwave. Everyone knows that. It's my boy Hot Rod. I love Hot Rod. And he's not even from my favorite Transformer series. It's just I love the 86 movie. I think the 86 movie is the end-all, be-all when it comes to Transformers, and Hot Rod's my boy. He always will be. Google, well, actually, go on the Transformer Wiki, go to Hot Rod's animated Transformer Wiki entry, and scroll all the way to the bottom to trivia, and you'll see a little surprise with my name on it. Let's put it that way. Proto, I still don't get why Transformer collectors aren't mad at their parents and their kids because they are the reason Hasbro dumped down Generations figures. No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think plastic costs increasing. I think that they wanted to keep profits up even in a decline of toy sales. And in all honesty, I don't blame kids for not wanting to play with toys. It's the evolution of play. Look, my generation, my dad, look at me buying all these licensed toys when he was buying die-cast cars that had no affiliation with stuff in the 60s. And then when my dad was buying die-cast cars in the 60s, his dad had stickball and was fishing. You know, it's an evolution of play. Whatever kids did, it's always going to be different with every generation. So, you know, who knows? those kids that are on their iPhones right now are going to be looking at their kids one day. They're going to be in some kind of virtual reality world. And they're going to be like, man, I used to use my fingers, you know? Not this virtual reality stuff. It's always an evolution of play. You can't compare that, really. Always changes. Dear Proto, do you think we'll see Silverbolt and Black Arachnia star-crossed romance in the up-and-coming Beast Wars movie? Or will they save that for later installments? Well, that's first assuming that they'll even be in the Beast Wars movie. That's assuming that they'll even have those characters in the movie. That's assuming that they'll even have characterization for the robots, because we all know how well the characterization for the robots have been in all the movies. Remember the great character development between Shatter and Dropkick? It was just amazing. Oh, wait, there wasn't any. Okay, anyways, but that's the point. So, I don't know. Assuming that they even give those characters a chance, assuming they're even in the movie to begin with, we'll see. Sup, Proto? How you doing? Any lucky enough to get War for Cybertron, Netflix, Alita, or Bumblebee this week? No, I haven't. I have yet to see those even in the wild. I would love to get Alita 1, just because I really like, just how she's designed, that remold. But I have yet to see her. All of those Netflix exclusive ones, they have not been having good distribution in Canada. And I go to multiple Walmarts. So I don't know. Maybe it's just Quebec. Who knows? Montreal, Quebec is just, getting ragged on. Dear Proto, would you like to see Kingdom Air Razor retooled into a new Vulture based on a Pred character? I don't think they're going to do new characters, because then you have to make new trademarks, and they already have their head up to their heels with the fossilizers and all those new trademarks that are probably maybe not going to see any use afterwards. Dearest Proto, is the original Air Razor figure excessively fragile? No, it is not, my friend. She's actually quite strong of a figure. I actually was messing with it not too long ago for one of my Instagram posts. So she is not fragile at all. Any version of Air Razor I could think of, actually. Every version of Air Razor is perfectly fine. Even the con exclusive ones, they are not fragile. Probably the weakest one is the first club exclusive, the one that was the Energon remold. Hey Proto, do you have a favorite Decepticon? And do you listen to Cybertronian Spree? Number one, yes I do. I love Shockwave. He's my favorite of all the Decepticons, specifically how he was in the Marvel Comics. And I love Cybertron Spree. I've taken photos with that group, and I know the drummer, who is Rumble, quite well. I actually did a few TV interviews with him back in the day. I don't want to say his real name if he wants to hide his identity under the Rumble mask. Proto, do you think Hasbro will change the box on HasLab Unicron to either Earthrise or Kingdom? No, it's just going to be that giant, air conditioner box that they're going to ship him in with two handles with Unicron drawn on the side. It's going to be done very simple. It's going to be done very, very, very simple. Transformers 2002 knows what's up. You searched the TF Wiki but found nothing. Then you can't read, my friend. Go to Transformer Animated Rodimus and scroll to the bottom. Read the trivia and try again. Who is your favorite Transformers figure you have had so far? I have over 10,000 Transformer toys. I don't know. It is a lot. It is a lot. The stupid wire. So, I do not. Oh, jeez. I gotta really work on this new camera. I don't know. It's hard to pick one. I really like. I have a soft spot for that old Classics Rodimus design when it was the Henkei mold. I really like, a lot of the masterpieces are very well done. There's so many. Man, I put a lot of stuff on my couch from all the stuff I bought this week. Dear Proto, no, I already read that one. Speaking of Instagram, what is the Proto Strika figure that looks like Warpath? Oh, that was you're referring to my Instagram post. That was the custom class figure. That was supposed to be Blast Charge from BotCon. if you were part of the custom class. I want to say that was 2013? 2013 that year. It was a good year. It was a good year. It was fun. That was in San Diego. My most fragile TF is Sonicron because he doesn't stay together. I have Sonicron also. I have the black repaint too, which is extremely rare. BTS Toys had a lot of learning curves when they were putting their stuff together. What would be your top 5 picks for Generation Selects figures for this year? I have a top 5 Transformers this year video coming up with me and Jaws D. After Christmas, wait for it. It will be live, and you will get to hear that one. It'll be a nice fleshed out video. If you go in our segments, if you go, like, you'll see we have our top 5 every year that we do. Where are we at? Where we at? What time is it now anyways? Okay, we still got time. Dear Proto, what is the rarest Bacon figure that you own? Well, I mean, what is a rare Bacon figure is probably the early stuff. You know, the 1994 breakdown, I guess. I don't know. They all kind of have a weird distribution of numbers. The custom class stuff like that, the Minerva from 2011, maybe. I never really looked into it. Rare and value have 2 very different categories, unfortunately. Like, there's stuff that's worth money, but it's not necessarily rare per se. So Proto just ordered the Beast Wars Generation books. Good job, my friend Mikey. Good job, because trust me, you're not going to regret it. You will not. Hey, Proto, what would be your top 5 picks? Okay, again, we're going to cover those later. We're going to cover those after Christmas, me and Jaws D. Proto, what do you think HasLab will ever see the light of release and re-release because I missed out on him and really want him? I don't know. I don't think Hasbro is going to touch that again in a while. It's going to take a while before they do something like that. Vertebrake, our member, says, excuse me, Vertebrake. Elves Bleed 57 says Vertebrake was a character from the Robots in Skies 2015. Yes, he was the yellow dragon figure down there. You can barely see him. From Beast Hunters. So they had that trademark at least. Although that trademark died and they just brought it back. Dear Proto, who would you like to have chosen for a direct 2007 live action to direct the 2007 live action movie? Well, you know what? Hindsight's always 20/20. Look, I'm not a fan of what Michael Bay does, but Michael Bay writes movies that work for a specific audience that seems to make money. Are they good movies? Depends on the audience that you ask. There's a certain level of cerebral numbness that works for a certain level of audience that makes zillions of dollars, and Michael Bay knows how to dish that out and feed it to you. So, I don't know. I would have preferred a movie that actually had the robots being used. And if the robots were being used and given character development and not putting the humans in the forefront every time, that's what I would want. Would that movie make money? Probably not. They want to have Shia LaBeouf going, no, 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 and Megan Fox showing her midriff, which, hey, giggity. But at the same time, you know, we shall see what will be considered good. Because, look, Travis Knight, who did the Bumblebee movie, that was an okay in between. That was okay. I think we were going in the right direction. But I think I want to see a Transformers CG movie. Just like a CG movie. Give me the characters and do it right. Because you look at like something like Siege, and that's not how I want it done. I want to be wowed. I want something different. But that has yet to come yet, unfortunately. Proto, you rock. Thank you, Autobot666. Proto, what is your top modulator or weaponizer toys? Modulators, I don't want to say because it's actually one of my top figures of the year. I really like him a lot, and he's easily one of my top 5 figures of the year. Weaponizer, I'll go with Cromar. He was pretty cool. Cromar. I'll go with Cromar. He was cool. Dear Proto, would you like to see the Starseeker pirates appear in more stuff beyond fun pub fiction? I really want to see them because they're a big thing. I'd like to see anything that's fresh and new. Look, we have the mercenaries in the Earthrise stuff. Let's see how they handle that. They're kind of pirates, in a sense. They're mercenaries. So we'll see how they handle mercenaries, and that might give you an indication of how, like, let's say, Starseekers would be handled. On eBay, the new Beast Wars book is going between $72 and $100 almost. There you go. Like I said, get it for $55 shipped, people. It's already getting scalped. Because I'm telling you, when it goes out of print, that's it. You're going to have to pray for Chinese bootlegs, which were a thing with the old generation's books. Proto, do you think we will ever get a Battle Mask, Liss, or Studio Series Bayverse Optimus Prime? That's if they want to do that for Studio Series. Could be a running change. Some of them have different masks. They did that with Transformers in the past, where some Optimuses had the mouth, some didn't. Energon comes to mind. People asking the same questions again. Dear Proto, should Hasbro stop remaking toys that came from days when the dollar was farther? For example, Siege, Galaxy Prime, and Power of the Prime's Optimus Primal were weak compared to their original toys. Well, here's the thing. The time that transpired between those two releases, you're using the example here, Galaxy Optimus Prime, based off of the Cybertron one. Cybertron one came out in 2005, and this one came out in 2018. The two different fandoms that purchased those, I don't count because I have it all, are long to distance. So you could do two different versions and it'll fall into two different audiences and it'll be bought by two different audiences. Is it very glaringly obvious how different the dollar has changed throughout the years? Of course. But Hasbro needs to keep those profits up, yo. CEOs need those gold-crusted swimming pools. Hey, Proto, would you like to buy an Earthrise Mercenary Nightbird? I'd like it. I like the old Nightbird that we got from Select, so that'd be cool. I'm surprised we even got that one to begin with. It was pretty awesome. Very black. A lot of black and purples. Always works very well. Proto, I think we need a TF-TV series reined back by Mainframe. I wish, Michael. Mainframe was soul. Anyone that knows Mainframe Entertainment and all their creations, Reboot, Shadow Raiders, and most importantly, Beast Wars, they had soul. The problem is a lot of the people who made Mainframe amazing aren't with the company anymore more than 20 years later. So the Mainframe that exists today is not the same Mainframe from back then. And then he says, afterwards, Michael says, Proto, this bugs me. Why do many third-party companies put their own version of what Hasbro currently has or will be releasing? Because there's people that still like buying third-party. Third-party is a prime example of if you build it, they will come. If they don't come, we won't build anymore. And in the case of, third-party puts out a product. If it doesn't do well, they go bankrupt. If they put out another product and it does well, they keep making more of it. And there's people that exclusively love to buy third-party Transformers and think that most of the retail stuff is trash. And I could understand that perspective from an R&D and a development stuff, but it's also very expensive to be a third-party collector. You always have to buy stuff from distributors and websites. You can't just find it in retail unless you're going to like TFCon every year or something. But yeah, so to each their own. I'm not a big third-party guy. I get this and that. I get this and that of third-party, but in general, it doesn't appeal to me. Like if they're going to do like all of those combiners that have been happening throughout the years, literally for the past 5 years of combiners that third party was doing, I ignored all of that because I knew that was coming sooner or later in some shape or form. Hey Proto, would you like to buy an Earthrise Mercenary Nightbird? Yes, I would. Where are we at here? Where we at, yo? Do you think we will get a Selects Farak down the line or not? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to want to bring that trademark back, because then you have to ask yourself, where else are they going to use it afterwards? What is one of the worst QC issues you have had on a toy, not counting GPS? Well, GPS isn't a QC issue. That's a long-term problem. You never have GPS when you buy the toy brand new. The only time I ever had that problem in my entire life was actually BotCon. In my entire life, I got one of the BotCon exclusives, which was the custom class Primal Prime, which was like the red and blue one. And I didn't notice until I got home I had two left hands. And I was like, damn. That's the only time I ever had a QC issue, really. Like something out of the package and there was something wrong with it. I mean, obviously, when you're talking QC, there's also just toys that are dog shit to begin with. But, you know, that's the only time that's ever happened. And we're talking everything I have here. That's the only time. And it's shame on me for not checking the figure before I got home. Opinions on the R.E.D. figure line. Talked about it in one of my segments just before. Not for me, but I'm pretty sure it'll do well. And I'll probably pick up characters that do appeal to me. Proto, do you think we are in a golden age of Transformers? Not really. I think that there's a lot of good stuff coming out right now, but it's not the golden age. Definitely, I think the golden age is a balance of great product, great fiction, and great comic books. Product is great right now. Fiction is non-existent. We have like no movie right now. TV series is relegated to short, bite-sized stuff that doesn't really exist. And the comic book is still kind of floating. It's there. It's doing its thing, but it's not like in its wow stage. So we're not in that golden age right now. We're kind of in a gray area that's kind of just floating along. You got to balance all the properties. Transformers is not just toys. Hey, Proto Man, I would like to see a Generation Selects D51, also known as Grandpa from Car Robots. Would you like to see him use? You're referring to the episode where the old steam train was used in Car Robots, aka Robots in the Skies, with the Car Brothers. Well, you could just own Loco from the GoBots, and you kind of have a figure of him, and he would definitely be a grandpa. If Hasbro does another Transformers HasLab project, would it be Primus or Nemesis? I don't think it would be either. I think if Unicron had problems being funded, and Unicron's such a top-tier character, I don't think we're going to have a Transformer project for a while, and if we do, it's going to be considerably smaller than something big like that. That's what I think. And I'd like Hasbro to prove me wrong, but I'm pretty sure Unicron scared the hell out of them by it not doing as well as they'd hoped they have. What is the best place to find and order the Beast Wars Generations book? I would suggest, if you can, the cheapest way would be Amazon.jp, Amazon Japan. Try to get it through there, through a middleman. The more expensive route would be HobbyLink Japan, and that would be way more expensive. And then the most expensive would be eBay. Dear Proto, who is your favorite Cobra Commander voice actor? Have to go with Chris Latta. You said yours is Charlie Adler. Who else also did? One of the Dobson brothers also did Cobra Commander, too. I got to meet him when he was doing that for the CG stuff. What's the ETA on the Cyberverse movies? We don't know yet, Nacho Prime. We know we have 2 movies. We know they're coming at some point. Hasbro has been terrible with the promoting and hype behind Cyberverse. They don't hype the toys. They don't put them in the Hasbro Pulse segments. When they do toy fairs and New York Comic Cons, they don't show off the Cyberverse stuff. They don't put focus on it. When new product shows up, how do we learn about it? People find it in retail, you know? So, you know what's going to happen? Those 2 movies are just going to show up on TV one day, and we're just going to like find out like blindsided. That's what's probably going to happen. I'm telling you. What do you think is the fastest selling BotCon box set and souvenir pack? It would be the 2011 animated set. The animated set and all of its stuff, including its army builders, everything sold out instantly. The Rainmakers from 2013 sold very well too, But don't underestimate that 2011 year, man, of BotCon. Everything sold out like mad. And since then, nothing has sold out like that since. Like every year afterwards. Mike Dobson, thank you, Ninjatron. I remember it was one of the Dobson brothers. What do you think will be the next Titan-class Transformer after the Arc? Who knows? Nemesis? Tidal Wave? Who knows? Maybe a new Unicron? Just putting him in the Titan-class price point. Maybe a Primus, but putting him in the Titan-class price point. Who knows? It's still more than a year away before we even have to think about that. In a world with no Toys R Us. And different retailers after everything, too. I think Unicron's problem was how expensive he was. Yeah, he was very expensive. And that's why. But think about it. Unicron was expensive, but whatever they're going to do that's going to be just as big as Unicron, they're going to charge a comparable amount of price. They're going to still ask more or less the same. So they're going to have to do something way smaller and way simpler, but still have name cachet to have enough people to want to back it. So we're not going to have a Unicron and a Primus at the same size. If there is a HasLab Primus, he's going to be considerably smaller. Dear Proto, do you think it's possible for us to get another Generation Selects weapon pack? I think they'll do it. Considering how well it sold last time, they could easily just throw a bunch of stuff together. When was the worst TF time when was the worst time you broke a TF? We've all done it. I recorded it on camera. Google Proto Retro, one word, Proto Retro, GPS. It was from my old channel when I was transforming live Randy, the GPS Nightmare. You'll see me break him right on camera. I probably swore 4 times in that video. Didn't work out well. I also talk about the history of GPS in that video too, so you'll learn a little things. Hey Proto, is it worth watching Headmaster, Super God, Master Force, and Victory? So Headmasters really is the same kind of writing style and animation style of, let's say, Season 3 and Season 2 and Season 1 of G1. So if you start with Headmasters and you don't like it, don't let it persuade you and make you go, oh, well, I don't want to watch the other stuff now. Headmaster is probably the slowest of the bunch, but it's necessary kind of just to get the structure of things. Master Force is amazing. Victory is very fun too. It's a fresh breath of air. And Zone is a nice little side story afterwards from Victory. So they are worth watching. One of my top 3 favorite Transformer series of all time, Master Force is one of them. So I would say yes. But just you're going to have to start with Headmasters, but don't get discouraged by it being the most boring of the bunch. It has its moments, though. It's still pretty interesting. Michael Koo wants to know, Proto, if Hasbro wanted to hire you as a full-time consultant, would you go for it? Of course I would. But the problem is that if I was a consultant, I'd have to get rid of my brain of what I want and now enter the business mode of it. Meaning, like, characters that I love. I love Nightbeat. I love Minerva. I love, Road King and Nitro Convoy and Hot Rod. Who would be in a series that would actually make some money? Gridlock and Starscream. So, there's what I would do because it makes sense, and then there's what I would love. Usually I would probably pepper 1 or 2 of those characters, like Grimlock, Starscream, Devastator, Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Nitro Convoy. Stick it in there, sneak it in. Minerva, we need a female character, I would do it. I'm a consultant already with other Hasbro products like the Symbiote Studios stuff. All the plushes I help them with. So if they want to have a consultant for the media, the fiction, give me a call. I really wanted to be a full series for Zone when it was all said and done. Yeah, me too, man. Like, it's sad, and it's funny because you look at the story pages of Transformers Zone, and it really gives you an idea of what a 52 episode series would have fleshed out to be. Like, it would have been really cool with, like Roadfire showing up and being like a new character too, and the Metro Titan arc would have been a thing too. Would have been really cool. Would have been really, really cool. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Proto, do you think we'll ever get Transformers and Predator crossover figures? Well, Predator originally was a Kenner trademark. I don't know. I think NECA probably has the master license right now with Predator for toys. So I don't know. I don't know. Who do you prefer, Nitro Convoy, Override? Nitro Convoy, 200%. Override was an afterthought by a certain studio and a certain channel that wanted more female characters, even though we have right there Chromia, aka Thunderblast. I prefer Nitro Convoy just because I love race car driver characters, and I thought he was cool as a male character because I watched Galaxy Force where it was a male character. And I like female characters, but Nitro Convoy's a dude at the end of the day. It's kind of like, you know, Air being a dude in Beast Wars in Japan. I like Air as a female character. I don't like Air as a dude in the Japanese dub. Proto, not toy related question, but have you ever thought of shaving your head coming from a fellow bald guy? I think it would look much better on you. Not really. I like The Rock, the Dr. Wily. The thing is, shaving the head would have to require having to upkeep it. I already hate having to shave a beard. Having to deal with this all day too would be even worse. Some brothers could pull it off. If I was black, when like Jaws D, he pulls it off. Jaws D could pull it off. I don't think I could pull it off. Some brothers could pull it off, some can't. Dear Proto, would you purchase Mastermind creation figures of scavengers? Not really. It would probably be, first of all, they'd probably be $70 a piece. So, right there. Number two, I don't really buy third-party stuff that potentially one day could probably get an official release. And one day I could see it happening. One day. I'm not saying you don't have to, but not me. It's not for me. Pro, do you think we'll get a Transformers crossover with Halo? Probably not. I would say no on that one. I think that's a little too far-fetched. What about making Nitro Convoy and Override different characters? Yeah, it could happen. Look, they already made like Baboom and Apache from Beast Wars 2 different characters. You know, even though they're practically the same toy. So it's possible. It's very possible. And Hasbro doesn't have a Nitro Convoy trademark, so they'd have to go with Override anyways. Proto, if you think about it, Hasbro can do Minerva right. Well, the first problem is they'd have to get the Minerva trademark. That's the problem. If they don't have the trademark, they're not going to want to make a figure. Where the hell are we here? Jack Torrance work? I don't even know who that is. Where am I at? Where am I at? So many questions. Oh man, we have 7 minutes left. If Seekers are all different characters, then why not? Yeah. They will accuse you of being a masochist because you prefer Nitro Convoy over Override. They will call you homophobic because you prefer girl Air Razor over gay Air Razor. No, not at all. Not at all. There is a segment that I did many years ago for TFCon. There's probably photos still kicking around of the official pairings in Transformer history, and I talked about all the different official relationships in Transformer history, including the canon gay relationships. And this was like way before the IDW stuff. And I even pointed out that like there was a lot of weird stuff going on with Rodimus and Cup and stuff and everything. So it has nothing to do with that. It's only in your head, man. Only the negativity could exist in your own mind. Proto, what's your favorite Masterpiece figure? The 10 out of 10 ones would have to be Soundwave, Shockwave, Wheeljack, and his exhaust repaint. Star Saber's amazing. I'm just looking at them all right now. G2 Sideswipe. That's a really good one. Proto, what's the latest stuff you have? I just showed all my recent purchases. This is. And then a bunch of other stuff. I had to throw it all on the couch behind me. Proto, could you see a possible MP Unicron happening with a crown fronting? No, because If HasLab Unicron didn't sell, I don't think an MP Unicron would be as excited. What's up with Cup and Rodimus? Watch the English dub of the Headmasters episode. Commander, I want to come with you. No, Aussie. Who will take care of Willie? You're a woman. Me and Cup will do this alone. And then they look at each other. You have to see it. You have to see that dub scene. The Star TV dub or the Malaysian dub. It's so... If you take it out of context with those terrible dubs. Dear Proto, would you like to see Pretenders become a big thing again? Of course! Because I always keep this guy right nearby. I love Pretender shells. Again, I love Master Force. So, obviously, I love Pretenders. They are awesome possum. Dear Proto, what do you think about the Thrilly 30? It was more Generations toys with a title. Were they thrilling? Yeah. Was there 30? Yes, there was. They were great. It was the RC and all the crew. They were all good stuff. Got 5 minutes left, guys. Proto, what do you think about the War for Cybertron toy line? Some of the peak, really good Scout toys came out of that line. One of the best movie Prime toys for the longest time. That the Voyager scale. I think it was called Battle Blades Optimus, which he has the Matrix in his chest. That movie Matrix. Like, there was a lot of really good toys that came out of that line. Really, really good toys. Where are we at? Dear Proto, what is your favorite crazy Galvatron scene from Season 3? Mine would have to be Web World. Let's go with him wanting the Matrix so bad, putting it in his gun, the ghosts of Cybertron coming out of the Matrix, and then him throwing away and say, get rid of it. After all those years of trying to get the Matrix and then just, that's your dumb Galvatron. That's your Frank Welker post-char, lava dip Galvatron. You can find that TF that Proto just shows at Five Below. He is right now $2.03 American at Walmart. Where are we at here? Where are we at? I'm going to take like 2 more questions, guys, and then we will call it a day. Proto, what is the worst translated name that a Chinese bootleg did? Oh my God, I should have brought out all my Chinese bootlegs. I had a whole bunch of them. Clever Evil Dog is one. That's a good Chinese bootleg from the Animal Defenders line. Clever Evil Dog. I think it was Evil Clever Dog. Something like that. I did a review of it. Hey Proto, what is Fluorodiri? Who is Fluorodiri and how many times can you say his name in one sentence? I love Fluorodiri. Fluorodiri had a lot to do with Transformers. If it wasn't for Fluorodiri, we wouldn't have all the designs that we worship today. I'd have to say that Fluorodiri makes me think of Fluorodiri. He's kind of Fluoro, and I love him dearly. Deary. Brother. Hey Proto, if you could add one toy only character into the original Beast Wars animated series, who would it be? I always really liked Wolfgang or Wolfang, depending on which translation, and Canine, those 2 dog wolf Transformers. I always thought those they would have been like a Sideswipe and Sunstreaker together in the show. I would have always loved them. If I had to pick one, it would probably be more Canine, just because it would be really cool to have a German Shepherd Transformer in animation. And it would be cool because he could probably have he'd have a similar relationship like how Cheetor had with Silverbolt, where it's like cat and dog kind of thing. Be kind of cool. Dear Proto, how would you have done a hypothetical season 4 of Beast Wars? Well, you'd have to change the whole end. You'd have to ignore the whole thing with the Ark and the ships and the, you'd have to change a lot of season 3 in order for season 4 to be really good, Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. That's awesome of you, brother. Michael Koo says, just thanks for tonight's live stream. Thank you, Michael. Every dollar counts. Every dollar helps the podcast. We make this thing 100% daily. How many podcasts give you new Transformer content every single day? We do it. No one else does. And we do it right. Who's your favorite character from Master Force? Putting aside Canadian bias. Actually, my favorite character from Master Force isn't the Canadian ones. Road King, who's from France. He's the race car driver. And least favorite? Bullhorn, maybe? Yeah, he's kind of boring, Bullhorn. And I don't hate him. It's just he's probably like, big grunt dude, Probably Bullhorn. Maybe even, I don't know. I'll still go with Bullhorn. I'll give the Pretender Shell something. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat. See, this is good. This is good to get the super chats from the awesome people. Mark, you should ask a question too, brother. Ask a question also. Proto Man, if the Hasbro ever makes a studio series Cybertron, well, I don't think that'll happen. Mark, ask a question, and then we'll call it a night after with all these peeps. Dear Proto, what is with all the undue hate towards my boys Shatter and Dropkick? Being sadistic goons is all character needs to be. Well, that's almost every Decepticon. You're trying to tell me a Decepticon that's a goon that just wants to destroy humans and cause trouble? Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Female, male, it don't matter. I've never heard of a Decepticon like that. Never. Such deep character development. Next thing you're going to tell me they turn into a car and or a jet. Oh, wait. A helicopter? Where are we at here? Where are we at? I guess Mark doesn't have a question. Mark, you don't got a question, brother? Well, before we go, again, I just want to thank everyone who came. I want to thank Symbiote Studios for all their cool stuff. Again, check out symbiotestudios.com. Proto Mass. Here, I'll just put them up right here. Proto Mass is your code. You get your code there, Proto Mass, and you can get $10 off any of your orders of cool stuff. I suggest the Bumblebee, personally. I like the Bumblebee and the little pin set. The little pin set of the Optimus here. Really cool Optimus pin. But yeah, I'd like to thank them. All our stuff, our clothing, thing, and of course their crazy plush. Crazy plush. Brought to you by Hasbro. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. And I just want to say, guys, take care of yourselves out there. Watch out for yourselves. It's still a pretty crazy world we're living in. Just enjoy life, but let's be smart about things, and we'll get through this all together. Again, thanks for coming. We'll answer more questions next time, guys. It's already been 2 hours. And again, Symbiote Studios, Proto Mass, $10 off, man. $10 goes a long way. You can get some really cool stuff with $10 off. So check them out. That's it, my friends. Take care. And as always, like I say, roll out.